Charbax, your thoughts on it? I don't know if I said your name right. I apologize. But would love to get your thoughts. Go ahead, Charbax.
So Tesla has sold over 5 million cars so far. And the question is, how many of these are they going to switch on and add to the network? They could be adding a whole bunch of these to the network. And of course, there's regulation in all the different regions, but I'm sure you can just find a region that will just say, you can turn them on. We want to be the first. And it might be China. Maybe China's going to say, just go ahead. We don't care if there's going to be a few accidents. Because if they can show a statistic that this is 10 times safer than a human driver, it makes no sense not to have it everywhere. So I think this is a big disruptive moment right now. And you have to think of the $750 billion, the valuation of Tesla right now. And basically, they are potentially cannibalizing the past to build a whole new business model, right? So why would anybody pay $50,000 for a car if you can get a service that maybe for 10 years you can get unlimited Robotaxi rides for $10,000? This is very disruptive. And basically, it means everybody who cannot afford a Tesla will be able to drive a Tesla.
Well, to be fair, we don't know if existing infrastructure can be converted into this. In fact, part of the launch event is a new car that is being built specifically for this purpose, for robotaxi purposes, which I believe is what they're calling the cybercab. But and there's going to be a van version, high likelihood. Again, I don't know anything you don't know. So we will all find out. But going back to your point around anybody can own a Tesla, I think that's a fair point. I think democratizing access is great. But if you've never actually had somebody in the back of your car, it's not a pleasant experience. And especially if you're not in the car, only the Lord knows what the hell is going to happen back there. So there is a lot of logistics that has not been figured out here. And there's a lot of details that people actually don't think about because I don't know if you know this, Charbax, but people are disgusting. And so that does help. That does make it a little bit more complicated. Charbax, did you have a response to that? Just want to give you a chance to respond.
I just have a prediction, and I wonder what you think. I think the battery is going to be a swappable battery on the RoboCab because they'll be able to make them just future-proof and also swap the battery in 1 minute. You'll be able to swap to a fully new battery. So maybe not on the existing Tesla fleet, but why not make the RoboCab battery swap?
Taking a step back again, swappable batteries will be quite interesting. I don't know if they're going to announce that today. I think today what people want to see is Tesla now revealing itself, and that's why they're calling it the We Robots. What you're hearing from Tesla bulls across the board is that you're going to learn about Tesla's AI capabilities. They're going to talk about Dojo. They're going to talk about the Optimus and their robotics capabilities. And they're going to talk about Cybercab and how they're launching a new vehicle built for the purpose of becoming a robotaxi or Charbax. Go ahead.
I also predict there might be a remote human override mode. So if there is like an issue, you could push
100%.
like a help button, or you could just say help, and there will be a voice, and immediately somebody remotely fixes whatever issue might be, so you don't need to have a
That's
steering
actually
wheel.
I would think, by the way, it's not just them. Waymo also has that currently. And I think that is probably one of the best things that they can do to address like the issue here, because that I'm just pulling up Kevin Voigt's. If you guys know Kevin Voight from Cruise, he had a really good overall. Kyle Voigt, sorry, Kyle Voigt, who started Cruise. He had some really important thoughts. If it's actually that he had, because he was in this business, he was screwed by regulation, and he actually understands this quite well. So number one is exactly what Charbax is talking, which is was getting stuck. So the number one thing that happens is that these cars can get stuck, and when they get stuck, you don't want to have people come in from to move the car manually. You want somebody to teleoperate the car from a remote center, and that remote center then is completely plugged in, using the internet to this. Maybe Starlink, we'll see. But getting stuck is a big issue, and the method for remote operators to relocate unoccupied vehicles is incredibly important. This is a true robot moving agent in the physical world. Charbax,
I have another prediction also. I think they might announce that this is going to be cheaper than public transport. So maybe they could say it's half the price of public transport. And who knows, maybe a city or a region or, might actually fund this through taxes. And every citizen in that area will be able to get free service because it'll just be paid through taxes. Maybe it could be Dubai or any region that want to be at the forefront. They will just say, hey, we'll pay, like, Starlink. Sometimes it's subsidized by the government. They could actually subsidize this service.
yeah, I'd be very surprised if they made that announcement today again, but I think it's a noble thought. I think today what they're going to really focus on is the tech. I have this like sneaking suspicion that they're not going to be making a lot of predictions around regulatory affairs, largely because they lost their regulatory affairs team. Their lobbyists are gone. And so I would be it would be surprising if this happened. Charbox,
Yeah, I have another prediction, and I think there could be a business model on replacing all the short haul flights because the Robotaxi can pick you up when you want to go to sleep. And maybe it has kind of like a bed mode and you just sleep all the way. Maybe if it's 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever, and then you arrive and it's going to disrupt the whole airlines because why would you want to go to the
there
airport
goes
and queue
Southwest.
up and everything? You can just sleep on your Robotaxi and arrive at your destination, even if it's 1,000 miles
I,
away.
I have to say, I can't tell if you're kidding or if you're serious, but if you're serious, that's awesome. I love it because I think these are the types of things that people are talking about. So to hear it up here on stage is great.
Something we're also doing is, and it's really high time we did this, is inductive charging. The Robotaxi has no plug. It just goes over the inductive charger and charges. One of the things that is really interesting is how will this affect the cities that we live in? And when you drive around the city or when the car drives you around the city, you'll see there's a lot of parking lots. There's parking lots everywhere, parking garages. And so what would happen if you have an autonomous world is that you can now turn parking lots into parks. And so we're taking the in lot out of parking lot. Welcome. Oh, and also, what happens if you need a vehicle that is bigger than a Model Y? The Republican. The Republican is this is we're going to make this, and it's going to look like that. Now, can you imagine going down the streets and you see this coming along with you? That'd be sick. So this can carry up to 20 people, and it can also transport goods. So you can configure for goods transport within the city, or transport of up to 20 people at a time. So this is the Robovan is what's gonna solve for high density. That if you want to take a sports team somewhere, or you're looking to really to get the cost of travel down to, I don't know, 5-10 cents a mile, then you can use the Robovan. The cost of products and services will decline dramatically, and basically anyone will be able to have any products and services they want. It will be an age of abundance, the likes of which people have almost no one has envisioned. It'll be something special. Please be nice to the Optimus robots. Let's get the party started.
Yeah, while we're waiting on Elon to return, I have to say early, a few interesting predictions came true. Want to give people some credit. They did talk about the fact that the cyber cabs didn't actually have steering wheels. So they did go without the steering wheels on the cyber cab. They also talked about how you would go to sleep and wake up and you would be at your destination. That was also correct. Charmax?
Right. If you look at it, it looks like it might be a stainless steel, like the Cybertruck, right? You see those folds? Like it's not as pronounced as a Cybertruck, but it looks like they've continued that material, right? It reflects in the same way like a stainless steel.
Exactly.
And that's pretty awesome. And I think the Robovan, they might do a smaller version that fits in the tunnels. You know, the Boring Company, they were talking about, the rumor was 12 people passenger. This one has 20. So they might also have like a smaller version of the Robovan to fit in a tunnel. I'm not sure if this one's going to fit in a tunnel.
Charbax?
And we were talking about the prediction of that you could sleep on it, get in it, sleep, and wake up at your destination. But for
Yeah.
that to really work, hopefully the seat can lie all the way back. You should be able to lie down like a bed. You know, I don't know if the angle in that design is going to allow for that, but that's I'm really hoping that they allow people to just lie down and sleep. You know, you can imagine that you get an extra hour of sleep before going to work if you live an hour from work.
With pillows and blankets too.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, robots like hanging out with people and interacting with people. I mean, clearly you're exactly right. They're up in the game here. I mean, it's kind of cool. I was promised a future, and it looks like we're finally getting it.
Charbax, your thoughts. If Elon's not coming back, which it looks like he's not coming back, I think we're going to start closing up. Charbax, your final thoughts on everything.
So talking about China, and I think one way they can really compete is if they do open source platform for the self-driving system, because I wonder if Tesla is going to want to open source their self-driving to make sure everybody adopts it. But if they don't, then I think the Chinese and also the Europeans and other, makers could all get together and say, let's just develop like a Linux of self-driving. And there's no way a proprietary system is ever going to be able to compete with an open source. I think also with the LLM and everything, when you have something open source, in theory, it should win. That's why Elon Musk originally wanted to do OpenAI, right? So this is something to look at.
Yeah. I think it'll be fascinating to watch. Charbax? Charbax, I think you disagree with Taylor here. So I want to hear the opposite point of view, hopefully.
Yeah, if you look at the video, you can see MKBHD and some of the other influencers. You know, when the Cybertruck came out, they had kind of exclusive. There was only 3 or 4 guys who had these videos, and each of these videos got 20 million views. So I'm pretty sure before market open tomorrow, you'll see all these amazing videos. And who knows, maybe Elon is going to be in one of them, or some of the other guys from the team are going to provide a whole bunch of new details. Pretty sure before market open tomorrow, that's kind of one of their deals. And I'm just maybe a little bit hopeful there's still going to be battery swap. But if there is only inductive charging, then the state of the art right now is 100 kilowatt charge speed, right? So if you only ship with a 75 kilowatt battery, maybe it's going to take 20 something minutes to charge from 10 to 80%. So maybe that's okay. But, maybe you could guess that these are not going to have some of the biggest battery capacities, because if it's only inductive, like with a cable, you can charge up to 350, right? So it's kind of maybe they're thinking that in the future, there'll be faster inductive charging, hopefully, but maybe that needs new hardware to support. But I'm still hopeful. Maybe it also has a battery swap, because then you could swap for 1 minute. If you go on a long trip, you don't need to sleep 20 minutes longer while it's charging. But maybe it's not a big deal, actually.
Yeah. Agreed. I think that what was interesting was they were definitely hyper focused on short trips. Even the way that he spoke about the design of a city, about how we can have less parking lot, things like that. It was very much focused on short trips over long trips. So
But he did say you could sleep and wake up at your destination. He did mention that.
he did mention it. That is correct. I actually gave you some credit when we started back up. I think you had stepped down. When he said that, I was like, God, Charbax was right, and I was wrong. We don't get more information, like Charbax is saying, tomorrow. I think, I expect the market to react very poorly to this, like Taylor was saying, because I think it's going to be quite difficult for them to justify anything here. That was the most vague product release I have ever seen. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see how it all comes out. Until then, we will see you all tomorrow and the day after. We're here every day, and you can follow Mario. You can follow the people up here. You can join the newsletter. Feel free to let us know and give us feedback. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night.